Lakshmyai Namah. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is your Vedic astrology coach Rajat Kapoor and welcome to my channel The Legit Astrologer. In my channel I make videos on Vedic astrology, I talk about transits. In the recent times I have made a video on predictions for the month of November, Jupiter's transit in the sign of Cancer and Saturn's transit in Purva Bhadrapad Nakshatra. Today I am here to talk about Venus making a transit in its Mool Trikon sign of Libra. Finally, after a long period of time, Venus is moving out from the affliction it has been going through since the last few months. Initially, it was in Leo conjoined with Ketu, causing an affliction. Thereafter, it was making a transit in its debilitation sign. Venus has not been in a great dignity. On 2nd of November, Venus will enter its Mool Trikon sign of Libra. So here's an interesting fact about Venus. Venus's home is the sign of Taurus and its Mool Trikon is the sign of Libra. The sign of Libra is 6 houses away from the sign of Taurus. This is a similarity that Venus has along with Mars. We call it a tiger's leap. So from moving from home to office, Venus has to take a tiger's leap. This is an indicative of the fact that Venus playing a significant role being placed in significant houses, especially the quadrant houses, or if it makes connection with the 10th house or the 10th lord in any manner, by aspect, by conjunction, by placement, and if it is placed in quadrant houses in the Dashamsha chart. So going to work is more or less like going to war. Competition is a part of life, is a way of life. And the only way you can surpass this competition, you can come out as victorious, is the Venusian way, which is by building associations, by building partnerships and thriving through relationships. In order to become successful, you have to somehow bring your networks, you have to somehow build your networks, and you have to leverage the power of your networks. These are channels which people like to build. And this is how you can succeed as far as work related context are concerned. This also is an indicative factor that in our daily lives, in things that we do on a day-to-day basis, we need to ensure that there is a lot of cleanliness, that we maintain around our surroundings and make everything well presentable, subtle, but at the same time quite pleasing to the eyes of other people if we were to succeed in workplace context. From a natural lordship point of view, Venus rules Taurus and Libra, therefore plays a very important role in all family, finances, which is more to do with accumulation. Venus is not the sole wealth giving planet. A lot of times there is a lot of misconception that, oh, Venus gives ton loads of money. No, the cash is ruled by Mercury. Jupiter is the significator of wealth. Venus is the significator of accumulation. Venus is the significator of partnerships, of businesses, of marriage, the key significator of your spouse, relationships. It represents interaction between many different people, 2 or more people, and this is what Venus thrives on. Therefore, in order to build relationships, in order to build our personal brand, Venus plays a very important role in our lives. In the month of November, good news for us is that Venus is going to be in great dignity. Between 2nd of November till 16th of November, it will be forming a yoga with Surya. It will help Sun move out of its debility. In this conjunction, Venus has a greater say. See, Venus usually takes less than 30 days to make a transit from one sign to the other. Sun takes approximately 30 days. Venus naturally is a little bit faster in terms of its movement compared to Sun. Therefore, this is a yoga in transit. Venus will not go through any combustion. Between 23rd of November till 26th of November, Venus will be conjoined with a retrograde Mercury, forming a beautiful yoga in the sign of Libra. They will also come across the same degree conjunction, and this is going to be an exceptionally favorable time for certain ascendants. And then in the later hours of 26th of November, Venus will enter the sign of Scorpio. During this transit, Venus will be under the 9th aspect, 9th drishti of Rahu. However, I do not consider this as very bad or any form of affliction, because Rahu is the one who likes to listen to Venus. Venus is the Daitya Guru. and Venus is in supreme dignity. It is moving through its sign of Mool Trikon sign, which is a sign of Libra. Rahu's aspect would further expand these tendencies. So as long as you stay away from indulgence, extravagance of any kind, and you take control, take charge of the situation, you are okay when it comes to this particular aspect. You make the most of the expansive tendencies that Rahu is trying to bring in during this time. Let us now understand how this transit of Venus in Libra is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs or the moon signs. At the physical level, you will read this transit from your ascendant sign. At the mental or the emotional level, you can also read this transit from your moon sign. This is bringing in renewed energies, much strength, stability, and good news when it comes to all relationship matters, and businesses are expected to thrive in the month of November. One last point, Libra as a sign represents the marketplace. So I would expect the markets where any kind of trading is involved, stock trading, commodity trading, cryptocurrencies, metals, and most of these markets to do exceptionally well in the month of November. Aries ascendant signs or the Aries moon signs. Venus becomes the ruler of your second house and the seventh house. It rules Taurus and the sign of Libra. Now this Venus is moving out of the sixth house. It has been going through a debilitated transit and also in Maran Karak position, which is extremely challenging when it comes to relationship matters, when it comes to financial matters and things related to your family. Venus rules your second house of the family, your accumulation in terms of wealth and other factors as well. Your house of consumption, what you eat, what you consume. This is your storage space and also represents those people who you would like to protect. Being the seventh lord, it rules your relationship. It is the Jaya Bhava. We see peace as well as war from this house. We see marriage, and this house represents your spouse. Venus has a natural benefit when it makes a transit in the seventh house. It puts greater focus on yourself because this time Venus will be aspecting your ascendant by the seventh aspect of desire. Venus will have a huge desire to bring in a sense of improvement in your personality, in the way you think, in the way you interact with others, to help you build cordial relationships. But this will somehow make you a bit self-centered. And see, there is no harm in thinking about yourself. So this month you have to put yourself at the center of attention and do things that are related to yourself. Of course, partnership matters, relationship matters are expected to thrive. Venus is in a great dignity. It is the significator of the seventh house. For the first 2 weeks, it will be conjoined with Sun. Venus and Sun, when they make a conjunction, it is mostly very favorable for relationship unless Venus is not going combust. And this is the case here. So it will bring in a sense of loyalty, harmony, peace and fulfillment in your relationship. So if you're already married, you've been going through some issues, now you can expect some respite. If you run a business, this is an excellent time for you to start new ventures, to see some sort of financial success. Your spouse or partner can also have some sort of financial gain in the coming weeks ahead. Between 23rd till 26th of November, Venus and Mercury will be forming a yuti in your 7th house, which is again favorable momentarily for relationships. However, towards the end of November, you have to be slightly careful in terms of relationship matters, but you have a good amount of window wherein you can fix a lot of things. See, towards the end of the day, you need to understand that the Karak is being placed in transit in the specific house, which elevates its significations. This is a good time for you to evolve your personality, to come out in a strong manner, to focus more on your health and vitality and your overall appearance. Your presentation will matter a lot, which will give you long-lasting relationships. Taurus ascendant signs or the Taurus moon signs. Venus is your Lagna lord, lord of the ascendant. It rules yourself, your body, your vitality, your immunity, who you are. It also becomes your sixth lord of daily routine, things that you do on a day-to-day basis, your health, your vitality. And it represents those things that perhaps you do on a day-to-day basis, which includes your job as well. Now, this is where you need to understand this transit. Venus is going to be making a transit in your 6th house. This is creating a Viparit Yoga in transit because firstly, your 6th lord is making a transit in the 6th house itself. Therefore, circumstances, situation can go adverse. Eventually, you will rise of the situation. Your Lagna Lord, the one who rules yourself, your body, your vitality, your immunity, who you are, is making a transit in the 6th house. This is where it will elevate your intelligence. It will give you further growth opportunities. Now, there is a caveat in this transit that Venus is also Maran Karak in the 6th house, which is a death-like position. However, it is in its Mool Trikon sign. So it is slightly in a better dignity. It will somehow lose its signification, which means that it could have a momentary impact on your relationship, on your love life, in terms of your married life. You have to have greater focus, but it could bring new job opportunities. It will help you improve your health, your vitality, and of course your daily habits. You have an opportunity to make significant changes in your lifestyle. For the first 2 weeks, Venus and Sun are conjoined. Sun relatively does well in the 6th house. This is a conjunction between your Lagna Lord and the 4th Lord, forming a yoga in the 6th house. So you need a lot of mindfulness. You need some amount of spiritual practice. You need some amount of discipline in your daily life. Venus will be aspecting your 12th house by the 7th aspect of desire. Venus wants to bring in a sense of eloquence in all 12th house matters, which is your bed comforts, the house of your donations, where you help others, how you help others, you give away. It is the house that represents your higher self consciousness and for you to be more self-aware. So it is a time for you to enhance your self-awareness, be mindful of your key strengths and how you can build on your strengths. This time period, you could see victory over your enemies. You could see yourself overcoming any opposition, competitive examination, but most importantly, this will put your health back on track. Yes, there will be some relationship issues which needs attention. Worship Goddess Lakshmi and continue to look up to her. May you have a blessed month ahead. Gemini ascendant signs or the Gemini moon signs. Venus for you is the only Yoga Karak Graha or the most favorable planet because he becomes the 5th Lord. 5th Lord of your future. Your children are seen from this house. This is the Rajya Bhava. It includes positional success. It includes your future. This is the house of mantra. So Venus becomes mantresha. Whether mantra based remedies will work for you or not, that is more or less dependent on the placement of Venus and of course the energies in the 5th house. Venus is also your 12th house of higher self consciousness, your ability to be more self aware, losses, expenditure, and where you spend and also where you give donations are seen from this house. Venus is making a beautiful transit in your 5th house. This is an opportunity month for you through the year, which could help you gain position, which can help you gain status and also recognition. For the first 2 weeks, Venus will have a yuti with Surya. So this is a conjunction between your 5th and the 3rd Lord. So any efforts that you put during this time, this will have a direct impact on your future progress and also positional success. You have to do some sort of expense management, budget exercise when it comes to your future spend, when it comes to your future finances. This will be a good exercise for you, but this time period you can manifest creative pursuits, you can manifest success, and of course all things that are related to Venus. Venus has the name Shukra. Shukra means gratitude, things that you're grateful for. So be grateful for now to have a better future. What you have now, what you own now, your possessions. Between 23rd till 26th of November, Venus will be forming a beautiful yoga with Mercury, who's your Lagna Lord. There's a powerful yoga that they will form in your 5th house, which also is linked to certain past karmas, because Mercury will be retrograde or Vakri during this time. And this is an excellent time for you to look back at your past, take some corrective steps, corrective actions where you are involved, your home or your assets are involved. You're likely to take some decisions and you're likely to have financial gains towards the end of this transit. Venus will be aspecting your 11th house by the 7th aspect of desire. Venus desires you to bring in a sense of eloquence in your social circles. Make your presence felt. Anything that you do, you have to make your presence felt. Venus does not have any affliction during this transit, which is a good news for you. And this is where you have to maximize these energies. Barring the 9th aspect of Rahu, which I do not consider so dreadful because Rahu is the one who listens to Venus. Yes, Rahu does have a drishti on Venus by the 9th aspect, but Venus is pretty strong in this transit and Rahu is equally stronger in the sign of Aquarius. Both are making a transit in the Aries sign, and this will help you perhaps look at some material gains for future and a very good time to build your personal brand and to have some sort of recognition. Cancer ascendant signs or the Cancer moon signs. Venus is entering its Mool Trikon sign of Libra on 2nd of November and it's going to stay there till 26th of November. This is happening in your 4th house. Venus becomes your 4th lord and the 11th lord. It rules your happy space, your comfort space, your home, assets, your possession, your vehicles and whatever you own in terms of fixed assets. It rules that house where you feel happy, where you feel content. Venus is also the 11th lord of material gains, your sense of illusion and also your sense of fulfillment, your friends, your wider social network. We also see bigger enemies or opposition from the 11th house because this is the 6th from the 6th house. So here Venus gains directional strength in the 4th house. It is Digbali. For the first 2 weeks, it will be conjoined with Surya. Sun is attaining Nichbhanga Yoga. Venus will also be under the 9th aspect of Rahu. So as long as you stay away from indulgences of any kind, your health is protected, your vitality is protected. Otherwise, this could have a detrimental effect towards your health and well-being. Rahu can certainly create some sort of discomfort when it comes to relationships at home as well. But the good news is Venus is in great dignity. There are blessings of Goddess Lakshmi. There are blessings of feminine energies. And this is where you can make the most of it. 11th lord making a transit in the 4th house, so you could expect some gains related to your assets, related to your home, with regards to your vehicles as well, and of course things to improve in case you want to probably buy another asset, let's say a vehicle, a car, or some sort of transaction where your home is involved. This could potentially be a favorable time period for you. Between 23rd till 26th of November, Venus and Mercury will be forming a yoga in the 4th house, where Venus again is in good strength. This could cause a rise in your expenditure towards the end of the month, but as long as you stay away from impulsive behavior, you are protected. Venus will be aspecting your 10th house by the 7th aspect of desire. It wants to bring in a sense of eloquence and leverage the power of interaction to build credible, long-lasting, meaningful connections at workplace for you to make the most of it so that you can gain from these networks, you can gain from these relationships. Venus is in a yoga with the 2nd lord Surya. This is a Dhan yoga that is occurring in your 4th house, so either you or someone in the family is likely to have some financial gains. This time period, since Jupiter is also making a transit in your ascendant, it is good for you to make certain decisions. However, please stay away from indulgence and extravagance of any kind. Take control of the situation and try to increase your spiritual practices. Leo ascendant signs or the Leo moon signs. Venus or Shukra is now entering your 3rd house in the sign of Libra, which is the Mool Trikon sign for Venus. He becomes your 3rd lord and the 10th lord. Venus doesn't share a very comfortable relationship with Surya. However, for Leo ascendants, it is more of a neutral graha because it becomes the ruler of the 10th house of your Karya Bhav, your work, your actions, your profession, your duty, your business, the kind of job, the kind of work that you do. 10th lord matters a lot and this house matters a lot. Though your nature of the profession or what you should do is seen from the Dashamsha, it is never seen from the 10th house. So anyone who's making your job prediction using the 10th house, that is absolutely wrong and it is baseless. Venus also is the 3rd lord of your efforts, valor, courage, change. This is the house of growth. 3rd lord making a transit in the 3rd house is a good transit, but here Venus will give you very high sense of desires. You have to channelize your desire appropriately. You need to momentarily increase your spiritual practice. Keeping in mind that Venus will be under the 9th drishti of Rahu, which will further expand these tendencies, which will elevate, amplify your desires. So as long as you're able to channelize this, it is good for you. Otherwise, it could be detrimental for your relationship because this can increase the lust quotient in relationship and of course while dealing with the opposite sex. For the first 2 weeks, Venus and Sun are making conjunction. This is a yoga between your Lagna Lord and the 10th Lord, and also the 3rd Lord in the 3rd house. So any efforts for the first 2 weeks that you will put with regards to your work, with regards to your professional duties, you are likely to attain success. This time period can also trigger a change of place or some sort of movement away from where you are, and this could more or less be a good movement for you. Sun is coming out of debility by the support of Venus. Venus will be aspecting your 9th house by the 7th aspect of desire. So Venus desires a sense of devotion, commitment towards your dharma, towards your duty. It is supporting fortune. It is more or less elevating fortune or bhagya in your case. You're also likely to go on a journey. Journey doesn't necessarily mean that you will travel. You can start some new line of work as well by putting in some efforts. If not, then travel definitely could be on the cards. You could go on a spiritual retreat or you could travel for leisure. But you have to continue to be the protector of your dharma and gradually increase your spiritual practices, continue to strengthen your 5th Lord Jupiter and also your Lagna Lord Surya by offering water to the sun each and every day. Virgo ascendant signs or the Virgo moon signs. Venus is entering Libra on 2nd of November. It will stay here till 26th November. During this time, it is forming multiple yogas. It will also be under the 9th drishti, 9th aspect of Rahu, which might not cause a lot of harm to Venus because Rahu is the one who likes to listen to Venus, but momentarily it could probably make you get indulged in different things and elements. Venus is your 2nd Lord and it is your 9th Lord. So it rules 2 Lakshmi Sthan. So it plays a very important role in wealth related matters, your finances, your accumulation. 2nd house is the house of your family, your speech, your consumption, what you eat, what you consume. 9th Lord is the Lord of your bhagya, fortune, long journeys, higher education, spiritual education, your father figure, your lineage. 2nd Lord making a transit in the 2nd house is a very favorable Dhan Yoga in transit. However, the first 2 weeks, Venus will be conjoined with the 12th Lord Surya. Though in this conjunction, Venus has a greater say. Your expense is likely to increase, but when the expenditure increases, so does your income. You could have some support when it comes to income related matters. But for the first 2 weeks, your ascendant was also technically in a Pap Kartari Yoga because there is Sun and Ketu on adjacent side. So avoid any major decisions till 16th of November. After that, you have a relatively stronger transit. You will feel more confident. Venus will be alone. On 23rd of November, Mercury will join Venus for 4-5 days. They will form a nice yoga in the 2nd house, which is the Lagnesha and the 2nd Lord, forming a beautiful Dhan Yoga. In the 2nd house, your finances will improve. You could have a possibility of creating a secondary source of income. Family ties will improve, communication will improve, and of course, it will give you very cordial relationships. The first half is relatively challenging for you, but the second half is exceptionally good. Venus is the 9th Lord making a transit in the 2nd house, is also a Dhan Yoga in transit where fortune is favorable because the Bhagyesh is in great strength and post 16th of November, it will be free from any affliction, though Rahu will continue to have the 9th drishti. But as long as you stay away from indulgence, this is good for you. Please take care of your diet, what you consume. Your health repercussions could possibly be related to food and indulgence over food. Venus is aspecting your 8th house by the 7th aspect of desire. Venus desires you to have a sense of eloquence and be committed to your own transformation. It is protecting your health, it is protecting your vitality. It will also be supportive in repayment of your debts over the course of next few weeks. You must continue to look up to Venus and continue to strengthen Venus. Libra ascendant signs or the Libra moon signs. Venus, your Lagna Lord, Lord of the ascendant, and he also becomes the 8th Lord, the Lord of the sign of Taurus. So this rules yourself, your body, your vitality, your immunity, who you are, and also becomes the 8th Lord of your longevity. Places that are far off, your hidden desires, secrets are seen from this house. Your ability to cope up with adversities in life is seen from the 8th house. This house also represents Nija Dosha. Now here Venus is entering your ascendant. So please welcome Shukra in your Lagna, in your ascendant. The first lord making a transit in the Lagna itself is a beautiful yoga in transit. One thing is quite certain, in the month of November you will have great decision making because your pillars, your fundamentals are very strong. Venus, Sun and Jupiter are making a transit in your quadrant houses, Kendra houses, where Venus and Jupiter are natural benefics and Sun is the Karaka of the Lagna. So it is bringing a lot of Tej. It is bringing the firepower in your ascendant, and by the virtue of conjunction with Venus, Sun is coming out of debility. So this will give you rigor, this will also give you eloquence and the ability to improve your personality. So there is the power of leadership and also relationship building. But this could cause a bit of conflict as well, because you will have difficulties in terms of managing task and also relationship, and this is where you have to try and strike a balance. But to other people you will come out as a very approachable person, as a person with great leadership potential and someone who is very good in terms of building relationship. You will be a good listener as well. Now here Venus is also the 8th lord making a transit in the ascendant, which is supportive for transformation of any kind. Be prepared for sudden events in life, be prepared to cope up with suddenness, but Venus is giving great protection to your health, to your vitality, to your immunity and your sense of well-being. So you will be in great spirits in the month of November, that is for sure. Continue to hydrate yourself, especially for the first 2 weeks. Drink enough water and try to manage these fiery energies. Even later, because Mars and Sun will be moving through your second house, so you must continue to hydrate yourself throughout the month of November. Venus will be aspecting your 7th house by the 7th aspect of desire. Venus desires commitment in relationship, a sense of eloquence, and of course you need to have a differentiated approach, a more creative approach if you were to prosper in relationship. This time period could be very beneficial if you're trying to find a new partner, if you're trying to step into a stable relationship, or if you're trying to strengthen or stabilize your relationship, if you've been going through some issues with partnerships, with businesses, with relationship. Now things are going to improve. This time period is giving you a personality boost, which you have to make the most of it. Scorpio ascendant signs or the Scorpio moon signs. Venus or Shukra is entering Libra on 2nd of November. It will stay here till 26th of November. So most of the November, Venus is in better dignity compared to how it has been since the last couple of months. Finally, it is moving out of debility and entering its Mool Trikon sign of Libra. I have given very interesting insights in the beginning of my video as well. Venus is your 7th lord and the 12th lord. So it rules the Jaya Bhav, the house of following, those people who follow you or those people who you follow. This is also the house of Daya, which means your sense of compassion towards other people, your sense of giving. And this house represents your spouse, your marriage, your relationship. Businesses are also seen from the 7th house because this represents the marketplace. Venus is also the 12th lord of your higher self-consciousness, your ability to give, donate, your key strengths, and at the same time your bed comforts, your sense of losses and expenditure. Venus being the 12th lord making a transit in the 12th house is a Viparita yoga in transit. For the first 2 weeks, it is also conjoined with your 10th lord Surya. You could see a rise in expenditure related to your work, but this expenditure doesn't necessarily mean monetary expenditure. You will be very diligent and you will be putting a lot of efforts at work. You will be very busy with work because you're likely to get some new assignments, new projects, something that you've never done in the past, picking up a role or a responsibility wherein you might feel uncomfortable, but this will give you an opportunity to prove yourself. So this is how you need to read this transit. This will give you an opportunity to become better aware about your key strengths and the opportunity areas. What are the gaps and how you can also fill those gaps. That is the most important part for you in order to bridge this gap. A lot of fiery energies will also be there in your ascendant while Mars making a transit, but Venus being the 7th lord in the 12th house, it increases the expenditure related to marriage, related to partnerships, related to your spouse. So this is where a budget exercise is quite essential for you. See, when a Viparita yoga is there, circumstances, situation can go adverse. Eventually, you will rise off this transit. Venus is having a 7th drishti of desire, which is a 100% aspect on the 6th house, which means Venus desires you to bring in a sense of commitment, harmony. Venus desires you to bring in a sense of commitment, harmony, eloquence in everything you do on a day-to-day basis, to fix your daily life, to bring in a sense of beauty and also comfort in anything that you do. Fall in love with things that you do on a day-to-day basis, your routine. Your expenditure is likely to increase, but this time period could also be extremely favorable for you to repay some of your debts and for you to become debt-free eventually. Continue to increase your spiritual practices. Use the Dwadashakshari mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and he is the one who will protect you. Sagittarius ascendant signs or the Sagittarius moon signs. Venus or Shukra is entering Libra, its Mool Trikon sign. Between 2nd November till 26th of November, it will come across and form multiple yogas with Surya, Sun and also Mercury. Venus will also be under the 9th drishti, 9th aspect of Rahu, who continues to make a transit in your 3rd house. This is not causing major affliction on Venus because Venus is in great dignity. But yes, this could lead to very high sense of desire and for you to indulge yourself in various activities. So please stay cautious. Please be careful of other people momentarily. You could have a tendency to attract enemies of the opposite sex. So this is where you have to be careful. Manage your reputation and manage your brand identity, because this could then lead to a fall or a dent on your personal image, on your reputation. Venus is your 6th lord and the 11th lord. It is not the most ideal planet for Sagittarius ascendants because it rules 2 houses. That represents opposition, that represents enemies. That is something which is in common. 11th house is even bigger enemies because this is the 6th from the 6th house. However, any planet making a transit in the 11th house does very well from a material results point of view. But with these material results come other repercussions as well. You have to take care of your health. You need to ensure that you keep yourself protected, and you need to ensure that your identity is protected during this time. So be very careful while doing social media interactions, while making online purchases, online transactions as well. You have to protect yourself. You have to be careful. For the first 2 weeks, Venus is conjoined with your 9th lord Surya. Both of them are forming a nice yoga in the 11th house. Surya, your Bhagyesha, is coming out of debility. Fortune is favorable for you. This time period does indicate some sort of material gain, some sort of comfort. However, the fact of the matter is that your 10th house is going to be under Papa Kartari Yoga, which means there could be some work related challenges, some challenges either with authority or with other people. Being the 6th lord in the 11th house, this indicates some gains related to job, but you have to work very hard. You have to put 5 times more effort that you would in any case. From a material standpoint, this is indicative of you to make your presence felt on social media platform, but be very careful while interacting with other people. Avoid any conflict, avoid any reactive or emotionally driven approach. Do not end up venting out your emotions through written communication because Rahu is sitting in the 3rd house and it is having a 9th drishti on Venus, which could bring certain repercussions. So as long as you manage your desire, it is going to be good for you. Otherwise, it could become challenging. Venus is having a 7th aspect on your 5th house. It desires future planning. It desires you to focus on relationships for future. To make you feel secure, use mantra-based remedies. Continue to strengthen your Lagna Lord, Jupiter, and my best wishes for you. Capricorn ascendant signs or the Capricorn moon signs. Venus or Shukra, who is a Yoga Karak or the most favorable planet for you, because Venus becomes the 5th lord and the 10th lord. So it rules 2 houses that represents kingdom, that represents Rajya. 10th house is the house of your karma, your profession, your actions, your duty, your work, job, business. 5th house is the house of future. This represents positional success. Whether you will have massive success or whether you will reach an authoritative position, because the power, authority sits in the 5th house. This is also the house of mantras. So whether mantra based remedies will work for you or not, this is where Venus plays a very important role. Now, elevation or major success, power is something which the 5th house or the 5th lord will give you. Alright, 10th house can definitely give work related success, but position is seen from the 5th house and its lord. So Venus becomes the most favorable planet. It is having a beautiful transit in your 10th house most of the time in November. For the first 2 weeks, it will be conjoined with Surya, who is also the 8th lord in your case, but Sun gains directional strength in the 10th house. You could face some minor authority issues. You could face some sudden concerns at workplace. You could also be in a position wherein you've been given a new assignment, which is, you're a newbie for it, totally fresh. You might have to upskill yourself. You might have to sharpen your saw. You might have to have a continuous learning approach. Some sort of upskilling is needed. But you'll be very focused, diligent in terms of building workplace relationships over the course of next few weeks, and that is going to be extremely beneficial for you. Venus will be under the 9th drishti of Rahu. However, this will create expansive tendencies when it comes to work-related matters. This will give you more relationships. This will give you more acquaintances. This will help you to make your presence felt at workplace. An exceptional time for new opportunities, for bigger opportunities. You will feel more confident. Your decision making will be right because Jupiter, Sun and Venus are making a transit in your quadrant houses, protecting the pillars. Between 23rd till 26th, 27th of November, Mercury and Venus are forming a yoga in your 10th house, which is the Dharma Karma Yoga. Mercury will be retrograde. So this can also give gains with regards to workplace. Bhagya is favorable for you, your fortune is favorable, and at the same time you might reconnect with some old colleagues, some old acquaintances or business relations where you have the tendency to gain. Venus is having a 7th aspect on your 4th house. It demands certain sense of eloquence, cleanliness at home. Make your home, your living space well presentable. Make your workspace also well presentable. So declutter your workspace, declutter your home as well. That is the only remedy you need, and my best wishes for you. Aquarius ascendant signs or the Aquarius moon signs. Venus, who is a Yoga Karaka Graha for you, because Venus rules one quadrant house and one trinal house. It is the ruler of the 4th house of your home, comforts, your mother, your homeland, your sense of protection. This is the house where you feel most happy, secure and comfortable. So Venus rules your Sukh Bhava, it becomes your Sukhesha. And it also becomes your Bhagyesha because Venus rules your 9th house of fortune, your higher education. Long distance journeys are seen from this house. This house represents your dharma, your father, your lineage, mentors, teachers are seen from this house, and of course spiritual education is also seen from this house. So the 4th lord and the 9th lord making a transit in the 9th house. So firstly, a quadrant house making a transit in the trinal house is a yoga in transit, and more so when the Bhagyesha is making a transit in the 9th house. So this time period particularly could be supportive for your spouse, for your partners, because Venus is conjoined with Surya, who is the 7th lord, in the 9th house, forming a beautiful yoga. This could indicate some sort of travel, some sort of movement or a change of place as well. For those people who've been trying to settle outside of their home country, this could be a potentially favorable time period for you where you might get support of paperwork. Any paperwork that you're undergoing, you will have less issues and you will have more support in terms of making things progress further. Venus will be under the 9th aspect of Rahu. So this is where it could cause some obstruction, some inconsistencies in your dharmic practices, in the path towards righteousness. But as long as you continue to stay ethical, stay grounded, it is good. I do not consider Rahu having a very bad drishti on Venus because Venus is in great dignity. Between 23rd till 26th of November, Venus and Mercury will be conjoined in your 9th house. So two trinal lords making a transit in the 9th house is a beautiful yoga again, where fortune is going to be further elevated and you have some financial support or financial gain towards the mid to end of November. Venus is going to be aspecting your 3rd house by the 7th aspect of desire. Venus desires you to go on journeys that are linked to leisure. Also take care of yourself. Journal as an exercise, that could be very good wherever your hands are in use. That could be a potentially good remedy. This is activating your 3-9 axis, which indicates start of new ventures, start of new line of work, where fortune is mostly favorable, and you will also feel good when it comes to yourself and your relationship. You will develop very close proximity towards your parents. You will have some natural karma towards your parents, so be prepared to stay connected with them, and my best wishes for you. Pisces ascendant signs or the Pisces moon signs. Venus or Shukra is now going to be entering Libra between 2nd of November till 26th of November, where now it is in great dignity. It is finally moving out of its debilitation signs. In the last few weeks, Venus had challenging transit. Now it is moving through the Mool Trikon sign of Libra. However, in your case, Venus becomes the 3rd lord and the 8th lord. So it does not rule 2 of the good houses in the chart. 3rd house of valor, courage, change, journeys, movement, and this is also the house of growth. This is also the house of your siblings, particularly the younger co-borns. Venus is also the 8th lord of longevity, suddenness in life, your ability to deal with adversities. This house represents places that are far off, across the sea, and of course how you deal with your adversities in life, which is about Nij dosha, that is your weakness. Venus is forming a Viparit Yoga in transit. For the first 2 weeks, it is conjoined with Surya, who is your 6th lord. Again, that gives you a Viparit Yoga in transit. Rahu being placed in the 12th house is also in Viparit Yoga, and it is aspecting Venus by the 9th aspect. So circumstances, situation will go adverse. Eventually, you will rise off this position. Venus is giving protection, though a not so good planet for your ascendant moving in the 8th house is giving you good protection when it comes to health and vitality and your immunity. And it is going to bring in a sense of fulfillment in relationship. It is going to be protective of relationship matters as well, in case you've been facing some challenges, some hardship. Now you could see some sort of improvement when it comes to these matters. But you have to stay away from indulgence. You have to stay away from extravagance. You have to increase your spiritual discipline. Start yoga, meditation, sadhana, or any spiritual practices. You will have the power to perfect, and of course be consistent. Venus doesn't do bad in the 8th house because this is the house of longevity. Venus has the power of knowledge related to Mrit Sanjeevani, bringing the dead back to life, and this is where it will help you. It will help you in transforming yourself, transforming and of course making you a better person. Venus is aspecting your 2nd house by the 7th aspect of desire. Venus desires you to accumulate your finances, save for a better future, save for your family, and also bring positive changes in your diet. The only reason to worry for your health could be something related to food, wherein you have indulged yourself and you've gone a bit overboard. So this is where you have to take control of the situation, take things in your own hand, and be prepared for positive transformation. So friends, this was yet another unique video on Venus making a transit, a very powerful transit in the sign of Libra, which will bring in a sense of harmony, a sense of peace and balance in the world. It is also great news for certain marketplaces. Businesses are expected to thrive. Relationships are expected to see better results. I hope you like this video. Please share it with your friends and family. Stay tuned for more such videos on my channel, especially the upcoming video on annual transit for the year 2026, my most unique presentation for the year. Thank you very much. God bless you all.